Hi guys, so let's just dive straight into this January 2020 budget recap, as it's the 8th of February, I think, so it's a little bit overdue. So my goal for this month was to earn £1,400, sell all the fabric and launch the Etsy site. So I did launch the Etsy site and I haven't had any sales yet. I didn't sell all my fabric and I didn't earn my goal of £1,400. I did earn enough, however, to cover my outgoings. So starting off over here, my total money in was £1,042 and 99 pence. I had income support come in, a Christmas check, the Zifit payment actually went through in February. They took a little bit longer to process. I had a Music Magpie payment of £5.66. I sold some things on eBay for £10.98. This was the total amount sold for kind of fabric and notions. Some generalised sales on Facebook Marketplace, that's actually £93. I did a mystery shop, which earned me £31.35. I had a petrol reimbursement because I did some house sitting for mum and dad while dad was away abroad, so they paid for my petrol to do those trips, and then mum also bought some diet products from me because she was running out. My savings goals were, my sister had bought me some theatre tickets and for Christmas, and she had a weekend coming up on the 1st, so we are about to be interrupted by the cat. Hi. Just going to move your tail, thank you. So just interrupted by the cat there. So I wanted to save £30 for that weekend, which I did, and I achieved that on the 30th of the 1st. I wanted to complete the 52-week saving challenge, which I have done for January, and then the same as well for the 1p challenge. These were my standard amounts, so you can see there rent was fine, petrol was under, and then normal bills. My car insurance, when I took that out, I'd actually paid over. The first payment you always pay a little bit more, so it turns out that's not due until February, so I was able to make a saving there. Mobile phone bill, that was in credit, so I was able to put £10 to pay that, and then that was all fine. These were, so normal food, cat food, and normal food and cat food were over. Now you'll be able to see when I worked out my allowances for the month. When I was paid previously, I was paid every 4 weekly, so I only ever had to work out 4 weeks worth of money. Obviously now I'm self-employed and I have to factor in the whole month, and January was a 5-week month, so I went over. I allowed £30 a week for food, so I went over within kind of a 5th week allowance, and then the same for the cat as well. Their minimum payment on the credit card, their personal, again, that was based on it being £25 a week, and it was a 5-week month, so that went over within the tune of a 5-week month. And then same again for Spotify, that was normal. My Seamwork subscription, sewing subscription, was normal. I didn't have to spend any money on Dad's birthday because I spent an awful lot of time doing vouchers, surveys for Amazon vouchers, so I was able to actually get my mum and my dad's birthday presents using Amazon vouchers and not having to actually find the £50 itself, which was fantastic. Going down to the business, I decided not to go ahead with my Canva Pro and my Mandy Crew Pro subscriptions this month. I had no work that I needed to do that required Pro on Canva, and also I have a love-hate relationship with this site, so I'm probably going to do another video on that actually. And then Fabric and Notions, I launched the Etsy shop and then I went slightly over there. Had to factor in prescriptions. I had 2 due. I was able to make do without 1 and only take 9 out. So my budgeted amount ended up being £1,194.87, and my actual amount was £952.47. I think somewhere along the line I am missing some receipts, or have missed logging some payments, because I certainly didn't go into February with £100 or something pounds. So the way I logged this month was I use these columns to log weekly. This is just standard petrol, household, etc., etc. Business payments are all in red, so those are easily distinguished because I will have to do a separate spreadsheet to account for those anyway, but I wanted to have them in there. As I am a sole trader, everything is done in my name. I'm not incorporated and I'm not an LLC either, so my money at the minute is funding all business transactions. So week 1 all fine. I have within my food money, I've also incorporated household and toiletries as well. That may change going forward. So yeah, nothing too untowards there. Week 3 is really interesting because week 3 I had a little bit of an anxiety and depression slip, which had started on the Monday. And then I kind of realised by Thursday that it was happening, but by Thursday I started to spend an awful lot on food, so I went into a food spiral. This did contribute to me going over because I spent $10.99 on a takeaway and I meant to be eating healthily. I was then buying extra food that I already had in, so it wasn't so much spiralling on my personal, which is what's happened in the past. It was spiralling on food, so thankfully I managed to catch that there, and the result of that was that by week 4, these are just standard food. I was getting a couple of days worth of food and going out and doing it that way. And then week 5 as well. So we can see it all kind of adds up. So yeah, problem week. Therefore I subsequently went and spent more money. But as I mentioned previously, I'm fairly sure I'm missing some receipts here as well. And then I was just kind of tracking the amounts that I had coming in and the additional income. Again, the monthly totals are a little bit skewered because I don't have like the carryover, so I know I'm missing some receipts and things, which is something I need to get track of. And then my pros are I covered my month, so although I didn't meet my £1,400 goal that I wanted to, I was able to, with all the income that I have coming in, do that. There were regular sales. Every time I realised I was starting to run short or I had a payment coming up, I was able to be really disciplined. So better discipline. I was able to be really disciplined and, get out and do some sales and things, and then adjust my tract and my plan accordingly. And most of my receipts were covered. Again, there are a few that are missing. And it may have been a case of I've paid cash for them and didn't get a receipt at the time, so that's something I'll need to get better at. So we see some receipts are missing. I calculated a 4-week month instead of a 5-week month, which obviously affected that. I am a little bit annoyed that I didn't hit my £1,400 total. And so I just need to monitor more daily as well, because that's what I wasn't doing. So it would be every couple of days I'd go back and enter these in and try and track them down, which could be where as well I've missed some other ones. In terms of freelance work coming in, I knew going into 2020 that January is the quietest for film and TV and freelancing. There tends to be not much going on in the UK. I don't know how it is abroad. So the good news is there is some work that has come in already for February that I'm not going to give you a sneak peek on because that's a separate month and we're not done yet. I've definitely changed tact with how I am funding it. Bad news is that the feature film that I'm contracted on for, there is still no news of that starting, and I therefore cannot submit the just under £900 invoice that I need to submit. So overall I would probably give January a 7 out of 10. I just going back to these, I know some people are probably going to comment and say you're on baby step 1, you shouldn't have a personal, etc, etc. I am not. So with these, for example, so I have to be really careful with my mental health because my mental health and money go hand in hand. I think I've referenced this before. So sewing and creating is one of the things that gives me joy and manages that. So for £7.55 a month to have access to the magazine and the sewing patterns and the advice and the support and the network that gives me. I'm perfectly happy to pay that, and the same as well for my Spotify music subscription. I cannot stand ads in my music. I want to be able to skip a song whenever I choose to, and I want to be able to listen offline as and when I want to, and the same for my personal as well. When I was salaried, this is something as well that I noticed when I was salaried, I would get paid and all of my money and all of my personal allocation will probably be gone. If I'd been paid on a Friday, it would all be gone by the Monday. This lasted me throughout the month because I was being disciplined and because I was going back up to here and going, what needs to be covered first and what is the priority. So £100 is what I've set myself for my personal budget. I am not budging on that at all. And again, this is a slow progress because I have yet to have a regular income on the quietest financial month for me of the year, I am sure. So I will check in with you guys again in terms of a budget recap in February, and I've also shot some clips of my mystery shopping video because it was a really lovely National Trust kind of historic country estate property that I thought might be quite nice for you guys all to see, because it was a nice free day out that I got money back for as well. So I will check in with you next time. Hope you guys had a good January as well, and I will speak to you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Bye!